does a diet become a disorder? That's really important for people to think about, because a lot of people want to go on a diet. They want to be healthier. They want to lose weight. They want to look better. But at some point, that takes over. And then they can't do anything else.
You're just on a treadmill, you know, going nowhere because its intention is to kill you.
The highest incidence of developing an eating disorder is in adolescence. That is the time when you are struggling with your identity.
People would ask me if I was okay, and I would be like, oh yeah, I'm just a model. Which is not true, but it was the lie I told. And they believed it and bought it, and they were like, oh, that makes total sense.
It's so acceptable. And not only is it acceptable with your peers, your own parents will praise you for losing weight without knowing how you did it. Like this father I know whose daughter was throwing up her lunch every day at school. And what did he say? Oh, honey, you're doing great. You look so great. Keep doing whatever you're doing. I had a mother one time think that she was going to solve her daughter's bulimia. She told her daughter, if you stop throwing up, I will pay for you to have liposuction if you stop throwing up. You know what the daughter took from that? The daughter's in my office crying because she said, even my own mom thinks I'm so ugly, I need liposuction. We're a society that promotes and rewards extremes. I have girls that come in and they'll be sitting in a group and they'll say something about, you know, running 15 miles. And everyone's like, oh, wow, that's so great. We're so goal-oriented. That person may not have a life anymore, but she can run 15 miles. One of the problems that I see often is that mothers bring their daughters in to me to be treated for what they call an eating disorder, but really they don't like their daughter's weight. And they come in saying, you know, I'm worried that she's going to be discriminated against in school, and I don't want her to have to deal with the things that I had to deal with. And what I have to tell mothers all the time is, then you become the first one to discriminate against her by saying that. You already make her feel bad when you bring her to me to fix her because of her weight. For every person who has an eating disorder, you're going to find 500 kids who hate their body, who don't want to get up in the morning because they don't want to go to school because they think they're fat. This little girl, she's in my waiting room. I'm seeing her mother for an eating disorder. I walk her mother out and saying goodbye, and the kid says to me, Carolyn, I'm so excited I had the chicken pox. And I said, so what's so exciting about that? And she said, because it meant I went to bed without any dinner. And I said, well, why would that be a good thing? And she says, because it meant I didn't have any calories. Almost to be female in this culture, you've been on a diet or you're gonna go on a diet. But if you're 6 and you're looking up to your mom and you're watching that, it becomes normalized. To be a female means to diet. Basically what happens, the person goes on a diet like everybody else. And at some point, they get captured into it.
It had just become so habitual and so normal to me.
Metabolic changes happen. Someone with anorexia nervosa, their brain shrink.
I just couldn't stop it.
I was very distorted in the way that I perceived my body.
It's okay to care about the way you look. It's just how far out of balance are you going to go?
Binging and purging got progressively worse. Binges got bigger, purges got more frequent.
My EKG was irregular, so I had irregular heartbeats.
My skin was terrible, my hair fell out.
My teeth were completely destroyed. I had to get my whole mouth reconstructed.
Days would pass without digesting a full meal.
Problems with basically everything.
They can only eat certain foods. They can't go out. They can't be with their friends. They can't have social activities. By the time I see people, often they're in this narrow rut of what they consider acceptable food, safe food, they often call it.
I was pretty much just eating like raw fruits and vegetables, and if I ate something that wasn't raw or I felt like I ate too much, I would purge. So I wasn't really eating anything, basically.
They sit down at a meal with somebody and all they can think about is how many calories are in that, how many fat grams, if I eat that I'm gonna get fat. They're not even in relationship with each other.
The less that I ate and the more starved I got, the more delusional I got, the more removed from reality I became, the more disconnected from people and my environment. I was so cut off from everything around me.
It's almost like it changes their brain. It's almost like to become a normal weight feels so foreign, feels so wrong that they cannot stay in their own skin.
And it was finally when I came into treatment and was ready to come to terms with it that I could look at myself in the mirror and see what I had done to my teeth. I could meet with the doctor and hear what I had done to my body, to my heart.
There's kind of a debate in the field about eating disorders. What is it exactly? Is it an addiction? Is it a disease? And the National Institute of Health, they just came out with calling anorexia nervosa a brain disease. And it is a legitimate illness, and people die from it. More people die from anorexia than any psychiatric illness. Saying that you don't want to cover eating disorder treatment because it's a willful act is the same thing as an insurance company saying, I'm not going to cover your lung cancer because you willfully smoked. One of the criteria is that the person puts an undue influence on weight and shape to evaluate their self-esteem. What young girl doesn't have that? I don't think it's people's fault that they get an eating disorder. But all my clients, I say, it is your responsibility to get yourself out. We believe you can be recovered. I think you become disordered and you can be recovered.